If you want a sense of what Yellen is going to be saying in that speech, you should probably be paying pretty close attention to John Williams at the San Francisco Fed, right?
Williams is her BFF. Yeah. She mentions him in every, well, not every speech, but more than anybody else in her speeches. So I think one of the problems the Fed has right now is they have the messaging discipline of Donald Trump, right? You have governors going out and saying different things all over the place, right? So she really needs to rein that in. And I think over the next week, we're going to hear a lot about monetary policy resilience. We're going to hear that so much over the next week and in the aftermath. We're going to hear a lot about R-star, about raising the expected...
Define that, R-star. We're talking about what? Yeah. R-asterisk, R-star as it's pronounced?
Yeah, so basically it's raising the inflation rate from 2% to 4%. This is what they're talking about. And so monetary policy resilience, it's expected to be more of a forward-looking speech than a current policy speech. But I think people will read R-star, the R-star policy or the R-star, I guess, movement toward, is the Fed looking at, say, a 4% or 2% or some midpoint in, let's say, the medium term?
Which has really nothing to do with tactically September or not. For that second hike.
Nothing to do with it.
Okay,
nothing.
Two distinct and different debates going on. All right.
So what do you think? When do you think the Fed's going to move?
Okay, based on what you've seen from Fisher and Williams and everyone else over the past week, not everyone else because they have a messaging problem, but a lot of people, December will probably see a hike. I mean, people have said September's not off the table, but it would be so ridiculous to raise right before an election.
Yeah.
It would just cause, a lot of discomfort among the political...
You think when they do that second move, it's going to have to be, compared to what we're used to, 25, 25, 25, it's going to have to be very much smaller, right?
We're on the side that says, look, you have to do 10 basis points, okay?
But then why couldn't they do that in September if it's just 10?
Just the optics of it. I mean, I think that the issue around raising interest rates is about nervousness about the rate of acceleration, okay? And so we think the Fed should come out and say, look, we're going to raise 10 basis points. The maximum we'll raise in any 1 month is 10 basis points, and we're going to do that for 2 years, okay? And so anybody who's investing, anybody who's taking on debt, anybody who's, looking at interest rates, because keep in mind, almost no Excel jockeys today have seen an interest rate rise in their lifetime, right? So once you see 25 basis point rise, you see people saying, well, why don't we just do 300 basis points? I mean, this was what people were talking about 6 months ago. It was ridiculous, right? So you have to ease into this normal interest rate environment because right now risk is so underweighted, okay? It's so underweighted. Look at S&P 500, okay? Record levels, VIX is basically flatlined, right? And so, there's no risk rating whatsoever. So all these 25, 30, 35-year-olds who've never seen an interest rate rise, they have to ease into it. They have to go into the kiddie pool first and then get used to a normal interest rate environment.